So I'd love to introduce now to you the members that have kindly agreed to come on today. So Jenny, would you like to introduce yourself and just say what your role is?
Hello, I am Jenny. I am co-founder and co-artistic director for Barefaced Theatre CIC. We work in the south of England, so in Hampshire and in surrounding counties, delivering arts-based programs to people, men and women, predominantly men and women in prison and on probation, but not exclusively, working with people in the criminal justice system. But yeah, applied theatre and multi-arts, all about connection.
Great, thanks Jenny. Helena.
Hi, I'm Helena. I am a senior lecturer in applied drama in theatre, applied drama theatre and theatre for social change in Batsby University. Currently working from Ireland because I'm teaching online at the moment. But yeah, that's I've been a facilitator out in the community a lot and make a lot of work with people's lived stories and experiences. But currently teaching applied drama and with an emphasis on facilitation for the undergrads. So yeah.
Great, thanks Helena. And Barshini.
Yeah, hi everybody. My name's Barshini. I'm an applied theatre facilitator. I also co-run a company called Rootprints Theatre that's based in London. So basically we're doing workshops around using cultural diversity as a tool. I also freelance as a facilitator, and I've worked with adults with disabilities, children in special needs schools, and also adults living with dementia and youths as well. So that's just a little bit about me.
Great, thank you. Pedro.
Hi, I'm Pedro Vaz. I've been working in the UK as a facilitator, mainly with immigrants and young people, and as a youth program manager. In the meantime, I moved to Portugal, and I'm now working as an associate artist for a company here called Carnart, and working for the Portuguese government, actually, for doing projects for people at risk of poverty after COVID-19.
Thank you, Pedro. Ali.
Hi. Yeah, I'm Ali. I am based in South Wales. I am a lecturer in applied drama at University of Wales, Trinity St David. I've been an applied drama practitioner and workshop facilitator for many years before that, and also just finished my training as a coach.
Great, thanks very much, Ali. So we have a range of artists, lecturers, a range of locations. Also, we have members of charities who work for frontline staff, for frontline constituents, and we also have people who are working for theatre companies as well, bigger theatre companies. So that's an idea of who's here. So I just thought maybe I could just ask you some questions, because I'm sure people watching would really love to know a little bit more about what it's actually like to be in Thriving Facilitators. So my first question really is around kind of what, and you can just come in when you have something to say. What insights? So Helena, you've been here a few months, I think.
Yeah,
the rest of you have.
Yeah, a year nearly. Last June, I think I joined.
So it was about a year, isn't it?
Yeah,
nearly about a year.
Coming up to it.
So I'm just really interested to know what kind of insights you've gained from the membership, and how has it sort of shifted your understanding about the challenges of what you're doing, and
Yeah, I think for me, one of the big things that I realized when I joined the membership was actually how I'd been in survival mode for a very long time. And that was quite interesting in relating to my own practice. I kind of felt I was scrabbling an awful lot. And I was also, what was interesting is in terms of working within higher education and the boundaries of that and the oppression of that structure sometimes, how to remain heart-centered and pass that kind of knowledge on to the students, especially when working in facilitation. And so I think for me, connecting with other facilitators from around the world has been really fascinating. And because I felt I wasn't out in practice as much. So I'd kind of lost, I guess, touch with some elements of that, but it was a real reminder to kind of dip back into some of that stuff and bring that practice, what I would have done out in the community, back into the classroom and studio. So that was really, yeah, it's been fascinating. I've loved the journey so far. Yeah.
Great, thanks, Helena. Anyone else?
Okay. Just off the back of what Helena was saying, it's just been really important to, I say this a lot, but like try and practice my practice, which is based around connection. And I think in order for me to be a conscious practitioner, it's so crucial for me to hear what other people are going through and not to feel alone. Definitely working in the arts and the criminal justice system down in Hampshire can sometimes feel quite lonely. So being able to connect and hear about all the amazing other things and challenges that people are faced with. And I think also just being really authentic and true in terms of reflecting, having a space for us as practitioners that's safe for us to reflect is the best that I can do for the people that I work with. And I'm learning to trust in my wisdom, Sheila, so it's definitely working.
Great. Who wants to go next? Barshini.
Yeah, just to echo Jenny and Helena, it's just been really useful to connect with other people who are doing similar work and have that. I think, Sheila, you mentioned this in the talk earlier as well in the panel about conscious facilitation and like really peeling the layers of the work that we're doing, even when we're not doing it, has been a tremendous gift, I think, especially during lockdown when so many of us lost work and it was a time to connect and share experiences from before and use that time really to kind of excavate, is that a word? Yeah. Things that you've done before and maybe like what Jenny says, practice your practice and think about it. And really just connecting with other people and just having a collective understanding of shared experiences was very beneficial for me to know that you're not alone, like Jenny said, because being a freelancer, sometimes you really just feel like you're just one person. So that's been very, very useful.
Right. Thanks, Barshini.
I can go next. Thriving Facilitators have been having a really big impact on my life, not only professionally but personally as well. It made me understand how long I was in survival mode and how much I needed to take care of myself. Sharing with all these friends that I feel as friends now. And I wanted just to show this in terms of the roadmap, because when we say survival mode, we just don't understand very well. And I remember the first sessions when Sheila started to talk about this, I was like, I have no idea what she's talking about. But then we understood what that survival mode and all the frames that Sheila presents us is. They are frames that, you know, you are not only on that mode. You shift from one side to the other. And I understood that one of the things I was doing was not embracing my experience because I always showed myself as vulnerable, and I was very loud and proud of being vulnerable, but actually I was not embracing that experience. I was just showing that without actually understand what was that vulnerability. And another thing I understood very well, that's the thing that I'm working now, is how I was going to the challenge part of my practice and my person, and I was keep living with the same fear and discomfort, not learning, not progressing, not bringing back to my own self and to my own practice. And those little things were bringing me back to the survival mode all the time, and that part of feeling that you are not growing or you're not answering the right way. And it's been a journey, a lovely journey, and with all these practitioners, but also with the authenticity of Sheila that has been very important in sharing with us also herself as a practitioner and person. Thank you.
Thank you, Pedro. And Ali?
Cool. I just got to echo what everyone else has said, really. But yeah, really interesting. I think that idea of we were in survival mode, and I think what the roadmap that Sheila's put together is really good for doing is allowing you to sort of identify maybe where you're at right now, and the fact that it's not linear. It is I often look at it and think, oh gosh, in one part of my life I'm thriving, in another part I'm feeling really challenged, and just thinking about the questions that surround each of those areas. So yeah, that is, that's been incredibly useful. But kind of on a more macro scale, it's this idea of I teach people to work with people using drama, and I'm surrounded by other people that do that. And I just don't think there's been enough emphasis on how do we look after ourselves in those spaces. The nature of people that want to work with people is because we want to help and look after and sometimes rescue, but very rarely do we look at ourselves, and that's when we burn out, or that's when we can't continue. And I think what this has enabled me to do is feel like there's a scaffolding, or there's a support here that enables me to sometimes fall down, sometimes mess up, but be able to get back up, to be able to bounce back, to develop resilience. And that's kind of central within the framework that Sheila's built for Thriving Facilitators, but also within the connection. For me, I think I've always in my whole career felt isolated, and that I don't belong anywhere, and I can't describe what I do. I've never been able to describe it. And this is partly given me a vocabulary to do that, but also be amongst people who completely understand and do the same thing, and be able to talk quite honestly and openly about the problems, the difficulties, the things that you wake up in the middle of the night worrying about that sound ridiculous to anybody else, seem to kind of land okay in this space and are recognized. So yeah, so many positives to talk about.
Oh, that's great. That's great. So what would you, I mean, I wrote a short blog the other day around supervision, and I know that supervision can feel really challenging for people, maybe if they haven't had supervision before, and it's something that we're bringing in more explicitly quite recently into work. But what would you say to people who are doing work like yourselves in quite challenging settings about supervision and the importance of having that opportunity? And that's to anyone.
I would say it's not a luxury, it's essential. And I think that maybe there's something about deconstructing the word supervision a little bit, because we maybe associate it with things that it isn't, but sort of redefining it. And when we're working with, what Sheila would call heart-centered practice and practitioners, that supervision helps us unpack our practice, put it out on the table and have a look at it and uncover maybe our stuckness and untangle things that can shift us on. It's like a very deep reflective practice, and we all talk about being reflective practitioners, but often the reflection's quite quick and there's not much time, and there's no one to have there's no mirror to hold yourself up to. And I think supervision provides this kind of multifaceted mirror with which to look at our practice. And I would say if we really want to be having the impact that we want to be having, then we need to be stepping into supervision spaces, whether that's as a group or whether that's individual.
Yeah, great. Thank you, Ali. Jenny, would you like to add something?
Yeah, I agree. And I think that if with the people that we're working with, and if we're teaching other students in facilitation, or when we're working in spaces, that we leave space to reflect in, to close the space when we leave, I think for me, it's definitely about being as compassionate to myself as I am for others. And it's part of my ethical practice to make sure that I am making the time and making the effort to be part of a space and fostering an environment where I can share and learn from others, because otherwise it can be dangerous and unhealthy, and that's completely against the essence and ethics of what I stand for. I can only speak for myself, but yeah, it's definitely a safe and non-judgmental space to be in.
And that kind of almost learning to be compassionate for yourself is something that quite a lot of people who work in the helping professions, it's a growing edge, to put it that way. It's something that it's challenging for us sometimes to lean into that part, but absolutely essential. Yeah, thank you. So the membership is open. Is there any last thing that you would say to people who might be wondering whether to join or not? I just want to say that you only have to join for a month and then you can leave at any point. So so there's a low risk, I would say, in terms of having a go, seeing what it feels like, and just trying it on for size. But would any of you like to say anything about that before we?
Can I just say that, like, I think when I was about to join last year, because I wasn't actually practicing as a facilitator as such out in the community, I hesitated and thought, is this a space for me? And I contacted Sheila and she said, yes, we'd love to have you. I was still nervous showing up because I was like, oh, who am I showing up in this space, and all those questions. But it has been such a welcoming, non-judgmental space. And you can also dip in and out to your own, there's no pressure. So I think the only challenge sometimes is that there's quite a lot in here, and I want more time to do that. But work takes up other stuff. So if you are, I just like the welcoming. Everybody has been so welcoming in every session I've been in. It's been lovely. And yeah.
Thank you, Helena. And a really important point there. There is a lot of stuff, but it really is. It's a journey. It's not a course. I keep saying that to people. So people just dip into the bits that they can make time for, and that they feel they need to do. So yeah, there's not any pressure for anyone. So oh, lovely. Thanks. Barsh has put the link to join, or just find out more about it. Just have a look at the page and see what it says there. And yeah, so do have a look at the page. So I'm just going to go say goodbye to you, lovely lot. Thank you so much for agreeing to come on and to share your experience, and I hope it's giving everybody a glimpse of the lovely people that are part of Thriving Facilitators.